The allegory of the cave is one of the most profound philosophical metaphors in history, presented by Plato in his work, The Republic. It challenges our understanding of reality, knowledge, and enlightenment. Imagine a world where perception is merely a shadow of the truth. This is the story of those who live in darkness and those who dare to seek the light. Plato's allegory is not just a story. It is a lens through which we can examine our own beliefs, biases, and limitations. It forces us to question whether what we perceive is the full extent of reality or merely a fragment of a much greater truth. The journey from ignorance to wisdom is painful, but it is the only way to truly see. Deep beneath the surface, a group of prisoners has lived their entire lives in chains, bound to the floor of a dark cave. Their heads are locked in place, preventing them from turning around. Before them is a wall upon which flickering shadows dance, a distorted reality created by figures behind them, manipulating shapes in front of a roaring fire. To these prisoners, the shadows are everything. They whisper amongst themselves, giving names to the silhouettes, believing them to be real entities. Their world is an illusion, yet they do not know any different. This is their truth, their existence. Some of them become experts in shadow interpretation. They can predict how the shapes will move, and they take great pride in their knowledge. They debate endlessly over the meaning of the figures, forming theories and passing them down like sacred wisdom. They do not know they are prisoners. They believe they are wise. Their conversations are filled with debates about the shadows, creating their own narratives, forming a structured belief system around these moving shapes. They speculate about their nature and their patterns, unaware of the greater world beyond the cave's darkness. Days, months, and years pass. The prisoners do not question their condition, for they know nothing else. They believe the cave is the totality of existence, their thoughts confined to the limits of their shadowed world. One day, something extraordinary happens. One of the prisoners is freed. He stumbles forward, his legs weak from years of captivity. As he turns around, he sees the fire for the first time, its blinding glow burning his unaccustomed eyes. The shadows that once seemed so real are now revealed as mere projections, manipulated by unseen figures. His heart pounds. Fear and confusion grip him. Could everything he has ever known be a lie? His fellow prisoners mock him, refusing to believe his words as he stammers about the fire's light. The freed prisoner hesitates. His mind wrestles with the contradiction. His senses tell him that the shadows were mere illusions, but his years of belief make him doubt this new reality. The pain of realization is almost unbearable, but curiosity pushes him forward. Who unshackled him? Was it fate, or was it a force beyond his comprehension? For the first time, he realizes his ignorance, and this awareness terrifies him more than his chains ever did. A guiding hand pulls him toward the entrance of the cave. He resists. The brightness is unbearable, his eyes accustomed only to the dim glow of the fire. Yet, step by step, he ascends, grappling with dizziness and nausea. The light intensifies, his mind overwhelmed by the unfamiliar experience. The closer he gets to the surface, the more he questions everything he once believed. The journey is arduous, filled with obstacles that test his resolve. He stumbles, doubts creeping into his mind. He considers returning to the familiar darkness, where ignorance was bliss, but something inside him urges him forward, the need to know, to understand. The walls of the cave feel narrower as he climbs. He starts to perceive sound differently. The echoes are fading, replaced by something strange and foreign. Silence. And then a breeze, cool and fresh. He stops, inhaling deeply. The air is different. This too is real. At last, he emerges. The world before him is unlike anything he could have imagined. The sun, a radiant sphere of pure light, bathes everything in its glow. The The grass is green, the sky an infinite expanse of blue. He sees trees, mountains, rivers, forms far more real than the shadows he once believed in. His eyes ache, but slowly they adjust. He begins to understand. The shadows in the cave were mere illusions, reflections of true reality. Knowledge is not what he once thought. It is something deeper, something earned through struggle and revelation. But enlightenment comes with a burden. The man, filled with newfound wisdom, returns to the cave to free his fellow prisoners. He speaks of the world beyond, of the sun and the vast reality that awaits them. But they do not believe him. They mock him, call him mad. The longer he stays in the cave, the harder it becomes to see. His eyes, now accustomed to the sun, struggle to navigate the darkness. To the prisoners, he appears weak, blinded by his journey. They refuse to listen. Some even grow hostile, fearing his words threaten their world. The freed prisoner is filled with sorrow. He looks back one last time at the cave, realizing that he may never return to ignorance, nor can he truly save those who remain behind. The weight of wisdom is a lonely burden. This is the tragedy of enlightenment. Those who remain in darkness often reject the truth. Plato's Allegory teaches us that ignorance is comfortable and many resist the challenge of change. But for those who dare to step outside the cave, a greater reality awaits. To seek knowledge is to embark on a painful journey, yet it is the only path to true wisdom. The question remains, if you were a prisoner in the cave, would you choose to stay in the comfort of shadows, or would you risk everything to step into the light?